Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons' greatest hope for a competitor, which is the indies off the table. Indies are never going to produce a competitor for Dungeons & Dragons, but the OSR might. And so the OSR has this incredible... so the OSR was this... and you know what? Let me get back to my point real quick. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to define the greatest opportunity that Arcane Library, ShadowDark RPG, OSR creator, Kelsey Dionne, has. This unique opportunity she has to do something that Dungeons & Dragons has never done, which could transform the tabletop role-playing game industry. She is an independent... She has freedom of movement, okay? She can move freely, whereas Dungeons & Dragons cannot. It is under a weight of expectation, a weight of tradition, a weight of Hollywood. Hollywood, you know, I don't know if you know, but today is our last day in pre-Hollywood Dungeons & Dragons. This Sunday, Dungeons & Dragons will be Hollywood Dungeons & Dragons, right? And Hollywood will be shaking hands with Dungeons & Dragons, and D&D will be Hollywood, and Hollywood will be D&D, and D&D Hollywood, we will be in the Hollywood D&D days, right? This is the last day of pre-Hollywood D&D, right? So I want to talk about pay with... So this opportunity is called Pay with Identity, and it's a huge opportunity that Kelsey Dionne alone, nobody else can do this, because nobody else really has control of the OSR the way Kelsey Dionne does. Kelsey Dionne has established control of the OSR. No product that has ever been put in front of the OSR has coalesced a larger group of supporters. Check the list below, right? But people who have come out, acknowledged, and or championed ShadowDark RPG's supremacy, right? And so Kelsey Dionne is the, you know, what was the OSR? The OSR was a bunch of crusty grognards who had a whole lot of garage band energy and produced nothing. And now under Kelsey Dionne's leadership, the OSR is emerging, has already thoroughly defeated the indies, right? And I really think nothing that's been done on the indie side of tabletop role-playing game industry has even remotely gotten the same level of support, the same level of excitement that Kelsey Dionne has already delivered for the OSR. And pointing to a bright future with an actual coalesced leader, right? To lead the troops, right? And so I really feel that, you know, she's essentially like an OSR general, right? In the contested ground, commercial and cultural skirmish, Kelsey Dionne is emerging as an OSR general, in my humble opinion, right? So I talked about this yesterday. She can do three things to really transform, to surge the OSR, to have a product winner that can surge the OSR past D&D, okay? So ShadowDark RPG is extremely important, and I think what she should do is finish ShadowDark RPG, and actually, you know what, I think ShadowDark RPG is going to sail to its $1 million finish. She should start working immediately. And the other thing is, the moment ShadowDark RPG is actually immediately, right? I think Kelsey Dionne should begin working on the next Arcane Library OSR product, right? And so, well, you're like, wait, what about ShadowDark RPG? Give it to some scrub. Give it to some scrub designer. Who cares, right? Like, ShadowDark RPG has done what it needed to do, which is establish Kelsey Dionne as the OSR leader, okay? So what do you do from there, right? So one, a leader has vision, right? And so one, ShadowDark RPG has established Kelsey Dionne as the leader of the OSR. She's the new OSR general in the commercial and cultural skirmish that is happening between the OSR and D&D that was highlighted in bold relief for every single human on the planet with the January 2023 OGL crisis, January 2023 manic panic, right? So what does she do? So I want to explain. So one, Kelsey should name the OSR. Old school rules. That's important. She needs to be the atom. She needs to name the animal, right? And then the other thing is establish Fizzy Ditch, right? What is a Fizzy Ditch? It is a physical digital book that is the new standard of quality in all. It's already a standard. It's actually an option in Dungeons and Dragons. And I think what Kelsey Dionne can do is she can say the Fizzy Dig is the only acceptable product in tabletop role-playing games. No more GarageBand nonsense. No more crap PDFs, right? You get a physical book. That physical book has a QR. You put your phone on the QR, and that takes you to your fully interlinked website platform that is interlinked and has exactly like D&D Beyond, has every entry interlinked, has pictures for every NPC, all of this, right? Real quality, right? And she says no more selling these separate. There is only the Fizzy Dig, right? And so Arcane Library could be the first company to say, we only sell a physical book. When you get that physical book, you get access to the physical you get access to the digital presence online, right? But there's no path to online content without the physical book. And this is new, and it also says, hey, you screen loving scrubs can go check it. This is for people who know the future. And the future is people who understand that the intellectual elite own physical books. Period. End of sentence. And they always have a digital presence for that physical book. They deal in Fizzy Digs. Okay. Last part. This is a part, and I'm redoing this video for this last part. Okay. Somebody was like, I don't know what you're talking about, giving away stuff for free. This is the last part. All Fizzy Digs are given away for free by Arcane Library. You're like, wait, what? They're going to give away their physical book, which contains a QR code that gives them a digital presence? Yes. Qedhup, right? Okay. So never again will Arcane Library ever sell a physical book, right? Will ever sell any books, like ever, right? And you're like, wait, Scott, how on earth can you give away physical books without selling them for money? That's not how commerce works. Catch up, right? And Kelsey Dionne has the intelligence to understand this and the freedom to move, right? Whereas Dungeons and Dragons, it is hauling this trailer of expectation, this trailer of tradition, this trailer of grognards, and actually Kelsey Dionne has controlled them far better than has actually done things that Hasbro has not been able to do with their number of grognards. There are grognards who still pay attention to D&D and actually play D&D, even D&D 5e. There are grognards who play 5e, right? It's not a lot, but there's a number of them, right? And so she has this freedom of movement that she could do. So let's talk about pay with identity. So Arcane Library would never again, and this, so you have ShadowDark, right? And this would be their next project. Let's say Shadowbright. Okay, all right. So let's call it Shadowbright RPG, right? And Shadowbright RPG would never be a book sold. Okay, how would you move these products, right? You would pay. So the purchaser would pay with identity. Pay with identity. This is a transformative concept. I think this is the future of tabletop role-playing games, and I'm waiting for a company to figure this out. Right, a company with momentum and freedom of movement, which is exactly what Arcane Library is. So how do you do this? Okay, so first of all, you print 10,000 copies, right? And that copy is called the Onyx Iron launch, right? And you say, hey, we are looking for 10,000 people to come and form a communication relationship with Arcane Library, and we want to give you Shadowbright RPG, right? What's the cost? You're just going to sign up and we'll send you the book, right? You go on, you sign up, you give them your real name, you give them your real address, you give them your real telephone number, right? And then there probably is going to be some authentication, right? And there would be some authentication. And if it turns out you're not the person you're claiming to be, you don't get it, right? You pay with your identity. Now, why on earth would any company do this? Because there's no money in tabletop role-playing games, okay? It is one of the absolute worst business models on the planet, right? Magic the Gathering is crufty junk compared to D&D, but it outsells it by a factor of probably at least 3 to 5 times, right? And the reason why is it's a better model, right? And so what we need to do is realize the money is us, okay? You and me, right? I got 4 kids, right? I own a house and 2 cars. I'm a spender, right? And if you attach to me, you're not going to get $50, right? You could get $300 or $3,000 a year for the rest of my life if I have a relationship with you. And there are companies that absolutely get that from me, $300 to $3,000 to maybe, if I ever get, if I ever, and actually, I'm on the low end of wealth when it comes to tabletop role-playing games. I'm not even that rich. We got millionaires who play, right? And you could get $30,000 to $300,000 a year from them, not selling tabletop role-playing games, but selling other products that other companies are going to link in. And so other companies will come in and say, we're going to fully fund that 10,000 book, and they will be printed right in the book, and Arcane Library will form relationships, communication relationships between owners, very special, right, selected owners of Shadowbright RPG. You see what I'm saying? And they can say, hey, I got one of 10,000, right? And these companies will pay huge monies. And if you think I'm wrong, you're not paying attention to podcasts. Podcasts are completely useless. There's no reason in the world why anyone should ever listen to a podcast again. Every single thing you can do on any podcatcher, you can do 10 times better than right here. And that's my so that's my point, is we should definitely switch to this model. Every word is that my humble opinion. What's important is when I hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.